Well, I guess we're on. I was adjusting some lighting. Well, today, if you like doing like caricatures, and I found an old beginning or into that, I was shocked that I sold it, but a lady wanted it for her baby's room. Talking about Disney characters, what about Mickey Mouse? Mickey Mouse is an easy, really easy character to draw. You have to think about the basic shapes that are in a character. Well, Mickey Mouse, he's got big round ears, right? He's got two big round ears. And then his face is kind of oval shaped. Iron out the details later. And then his like elongated eggs. His eyes would kind of look like big cheeks, which is like the size of a heart, right? Almost like a clown, right? And then there's these little half moons that gives him that grin that he has. And his mouth is pretty much always open. And then he kind of ends, and that his face, and you go back and you erase out or paint over the part that you're not going to use. You put the little bridge of his nose in there so that gives him his nose that sticks out, his ears. He has like I know Minnie looks the same way except and I loved Robin Williams as the genie. So he got the kind of egg-shaped eyes. One's kind of tilted that way. His chest is almost like another heart. One of those fancy curled out hearts. And then of course he has an S for his tail on part of him. And I think he turned out pretty good, this little pre-sketch. Now it's going to be interesting is his bands that are gold are going to have a shine look to them, and that's how you use white to make it look like it shines. But I'm going to work on the background first. Those palettes, I've got went to the dollar store, and I've got some elastic caps, and that one's getting wet. And I get this other big one that I used to make brick walls with. I'll use that. And the triangle, I don't think I'll use it just yet. So I have an extender. It's a paint extender for acrylic paint. It's a slow gel. And when I want to move it around, this is what I want to use. So I'm going to use that and mix it with the paint. Now the background color, he's blue. So I'm thinking just about anything. Kind of depth. And I'm using up some old acrylic paints that I've had before they dry out on me. Add yellow to it because what happens when you add yellow to blue, it turns green. I don't want any green in the background. I definitely don't want the green. I want to keep with the blues and that sort of thing. Now I have a thick body paint that I have not used yet. It's a brilliant blue. So it's a thicker paint. That will help with texture big time. I don't have any of that. I do have some red in here. There will be overlays of like a purple. Because the red and blue, even though this says crimson red, I'm going to squeeze the whole thing out of here. Sponge. I'll paint the sponge like this. I'll put some of that there. Mostly with the blue anyway. So we're going to, that's going to drip down to where he is. And then go to the other side. And do the top this way. I haven't decided what I'm going to do on the bottom. And the great thing about stretch canvas, you paint all the way around it. And what happens is you don't have to buy a frame because it is your frame. Do these things. I just kind of like throw it up there. And I might finish the bottom later. A lot of white into this blue. So it's more I like the marble look. I did an abstract like this, and I really like how that turns out, because then he can be like the focal point, really shine through. Just right up to his little body. Anything that is kind of muddled can be fixed with a brush later on. Like here. Put more of that crimson in there. And this can be, is this kind of impasto? Rather than pasto back in. Fine tune around his face and stuff. And that can go back in the drink. I did not bring towels in here with me, so I'm going to have messy fingers. That's all right. Okay. So I'm going to start with his hair. His hair is black. And where did I put my... So if I'm going to pick back, I'll do all the parts on him that are black. His eyebrows, his hair. And I'll go back in later with a liner kind of brush and fix those other spots. A brush. And I can... So we've got his hair flowing out of there. Just like, it's just to kind of take your time and this. And painting something like this is a no-brainer. And his beard. Well, he's a more control that way than where your paint is going. Several shades of blue. I think is really neat. And it gives me a lot of playroom. Now the way you get shadows or shading with not so much adding black, the part on his chest here is going to give a darker blue. And of course his little pupils are going to be black. To come alive. Ta-da! And this part of his eyes or eyelid, like his eyelashes. So it's a little bit lighter than say the black, but it's like he's wearing makeup. From that eyelid is a little bit of black, very fine line that just shows that his eyes there. And use a little bit now black spots on him, so to speak. So we rinse that out. So I'm doing the detail of his face first and get that out of the way, and then go back and do the background. Now his eyes, the white of his eyes is not too. I'll make sure that shows through. A little bit of bluish tint in that white. And you just barely touch the blue, and you put it in there. And you don't want dark white. Now Mickey Mouse on the other end, his is totally white. So now we have it. Sweet. Now I figured this little thing on his head, come back and do it. The bracelets also. I just wanted to use this metallic gold because I think it's special. Because it's going to give them a little shine. And a paint, if you can make it shine, and the paint's already, the shine is already inside the paint, that's a step up. Now, if it's not yellow enough, I can add yellow to it. I'm actually making this a little bit thicker, putting the paint on thick, not watered down, because I want it to have some texture. Now going back and touching inside, it stands up and it has leads depth. It's going to be right in there, so paint over that. I've been wanting to finish this painting forever, and I discovered I finished the genie because he should have been finished years ago. How else? I'm going to impasto this up over that sketch line, cover that up. Light spot. I'm going to make some white with this gold and make it a light and it reflected out. That's how you get that. I don't know if y'all can see it. Well, his blue skin is several shades of blue. It is almost I guess you call it. And I take some of that because it's actually a deep. Oh, let me show you. It's a deep aqua color. That's what this blue is. I guess it's a way of saying dark turquoise. So this is going to be my. It's kind of like when you're doing a landscape. You start from the background. You come. So underneath is going to be darker to define the darker part. Okay. Anything about underneath is a shadow. In creases of the ears, it's going to be a shadow. Get that ear in there. Oh, or we'll be able to see it here in a minute. Because the angle that it is, you just see the one ear. Outline that ear. Shoulder. Now I have not put any over it. This is your foundation, your base. Put a touch to that already existing color. A little bit of the white with that same color. And sometimes it actually enhances your painting. Watercolors are like that. A little bit of water, just a so all I'm doing is add a little bit of thick paint, body paint. Like here. Now you don't have to worry if you accidentally like paint over, something. Having a overlay, and when you go to put the color on top, it like just boom, it just pops right up. With everything, not just in this cheek over here. It's gonna match. Let's make it cheeks. Yes. So this is how you do shading with a caricature painting it. If you're sketching it, it's easier because black and white, there's a lighter pressure to do that. And the great thing about the thicker body paint, it doesn't dry as fast. So you pull it from where it is over, and that gives you look like he's three-dimensional. Okay, what's this? That it's not just a flat picture anymore. And go down here and do this part of his face. Smooth that rough line out. Oh, that's so, can I have it? I'm like, not yet. I have to find out which one of my two sons really, because one of them's going to get it for a birthday present. They're all grown up now. May not even want it. And they have to find a art fair and enter it and see if someone else wants to buy it. And he has some big teeth. And this heavy body paint is really fun to work with. Pretty soon he's going to have his little up under the eyebrow, the eyelash area. Help outline it. It's really detailed stuff. So, but that's sometimes necessary. I just have to fix that little spot. Crease back in there. That one in there. And the eyebrow. Well, look at here. It is coming together quite nicely. And I go in part. This tongue a little bit. His face isn't all that. They're always kind of bright, you know. I'm gonna brighten up his cheeks there. Just like this. Now we have colors going on here because we have the, as you go deeper into a person's mouth, and there's this darker, and a genie's no different. So highlight his little ear there. So now I have got the pupil here. We fixed a little bit more rounded. There we go. Yeah, it was a little wonky on one side. So now we're going to do inside the mouth. So you take that crimson and put just a drop, a tiny drop of the black to get it. For the teeth, you don't want to mess those up. And just come around. Well, these are just the colors I particularly the darker the red. And these are teeth down here, which kind of threw me off when I first sketched it. I go, oh, those aren't his look actually big white teeth. And as I thin out the crimson from the black area, that's where it gets lighter. So this really needs to be a little bit darker in the background. It's further back in his throat. No, it's a card. So it gives you that. You could see where he would be swallow. He would swallow something. Now to lighten up the crimson for the main part of the tongue, just a little bit. And if it comes out, sometimes crimson, when you add white to it, comes out a little too pink. And if that's the case, I will add some red to it to give it more of a, the tongue does have this little pinkish tint to it. And I'm going to add some regular red. We'll have a nice red tone. Same family color. It's not, you don't need to. Artist. And then this artist. So I have that red there. Now you can't really see the tongue, so I need to give it away so you can see it. So I'm going to darken that red up. Right along here. Goes into that crimson. I can see his tongue. One thing. Brighten it up. How do we do that? Well, we're going to take some white. Put that red. Have it come over. There we go. So now you can see it done. You can go like this. The dark line there. Just faintly. Yeah, just a faint. I'm doing his tongue in pasto in order to get it stand up and be noticed. Oh, we have a set of white teeth. Oh, we're not going to make them entirely white. They really aren't. And I don't want to use anything with a brush. So, here is the white. Which helps. The wider spots. And there's some white on his chest hair. Alignment. It's a way to clean the brush out. So I know I'm going to use it. And then I need a little brush for the rest of this teeth. Just like. Now I don't want the teeth to be. Ta-da! Smooth out my edges. A little bit of a shoulder back there. So I want to get that in there. I work on this. What I like, I'm going to be doing bigger areas, so I'm going to take a little bit of this color and a little bit of that back. Like this. It's okay if I go out of my lines because I'm going to paint over it by reshaping his body in there. And this is part of the background. Kind of the tedious part. I mean, I just don't like to cover up the sketching. I'm going to work around it. And then this cleaning brush helps. So I'm outlining. And then different shades of this and that. And I'll punch in little parts of the colors that are part of the background. That crimson, red, lavender, and whatnot. And you might want to do different background color, but I keep with the calming colors. The purples and the blues and all of that are all part of that. And also doing it this way, it allows for my painting of him, turning it into a purple monster. What about and then back to background colors in there. Just gotta be careful when you go for it. And it goes nice and smooth when you just add that tiny bit of water, so it doesn't take away from the hip. Side earring over here. Nope. Some people will do a background. I know that I've got in place where I want him as far as where in the, the painting itself. And I have this guy who's got some white. That's kind of what I was wanting to go. Add an angled brush for that. Then you make it like it's a little poof. I didn't use I could have done yellow. A lot of people will do the yellow for the flame effect, but then things end up being green, and I didn't want green paints. And then just go. And get that firework effect. You can do it right up to his ear too. That's even better. So the genie has his own little fancy schmancy kind of thing going on here. And here, take your time, and you won't regret a single stroke. And then go to the other side. Okay. Right. Same on the other side. As you can see, and then if it looks like you need to smooth it out, just go back to there. The original. Smooth it out. A little more shine. Just like that. Like his eyebrow over here. It was a little thicker. Not to mention his ear. I'll take this white. And we're going to lighten that ear up just a smidgen, just so that it's more present. There we go. Now we can see it. Okay. And this chest. It's not going to have that purple in it. I'm just cleaning the brush up. Put some little drabs of this and that. And kind of like a, let's say, kind of smoky off kind of technique. I cannot remember what color his sash is, but I'm going to go red. That. I'm trying to get the illusion of some kind of explosion going on around him. And smoky kind of. Now I could take kind of it takes off the excess paint. Now it's more of a smoky look. And then you go up and down. Maybe more smoky look. And away from his face. Cross, very light, and then up and down. Kind of smoky look. Now for, you know, just a different effect. Clean that brush up. His main body is going to require a fairly good sized brush. And I'm going to start out with and up. but I want to get that. Okay. Dark part's going to be where the arm bends. Like that. And then you lighten it up with, of course, white. I need to put some more here. Here's going to be a shadow, like it should be. Put it on and it's kind of lighter. I snatch some of that light and I add it to where I need it, leaving the dark. Around. His fingers are blue also, but you want to be able to for part of his arm, kind of shiny look to it, or a brighter hue of the main. Another dry brush comes in real handy. Blow it down. And I'm only going to use it with the blue. So as to not mix colors accidentally. And try to visualize some type of lighting, even though it's a cartoon character. And when we get into the fingers, I'm not too worried about the bottom part. Now the bottom part in him, from what I recall, is a lot lighter shade of this. And I do mean a lighter shade. So this is the base shade of blue. Because as he goes from top to bottom, he fades out. That's the at the bottom. And to me that translates into lighter. So then I'm going to put more white on the bottom. I'm fading kind of look. A little swirl in there. Just to give his persona a little bit more character. That part of him is, it's disappearing into the bottle. Or into the lamp, excuse me. And just kind of blend it towards that. That way this part. And then his chest is going to be, his pectorals, it's going to be kind of beanie. Okay. And here's the beginnings of that getting lighter stuff. Right here. Now, I don't want that dark, that defining line to disappear. Okay, so I'm going to do like this. But I don't want it as dark. It shows off the bend of his arm. That dark spot is lighter. It's not light, but it is. Into there. They have to kind of like pop up from wherever they are. So you see the indication. Body is finished. Muscles are dead. These are going to require that smaller brush. And it's a lighter blue too. Start out dark on the hand. You have to be able to see the fingers against the body. So the edges of the fingers are actually darker. And the inside is light. And the fingernail, almost white. So what you do is you outline the fingernails with the darker turquoise color. And that's what makes them stand out. Use that. Just like this. him up. Let me know. You can get a thumbs up for my genie buddy here. I think he's turning out pretty darn good, don't you? And videos. I'd love to have more people comment on what they'd like to see me actually paint. And share it. Leave me a comment or two. And by all means, if you would, just give me a subscribe. I'll come up with some more crafty stuff. I got a lot more going on up in here, and I do apologize. That's the genie. Just